Previous videos we had seen the different scheduling algorithms and how the waiting time and turnaround time can be calculated in each of the scheduling algorithms. So next we move on to multi-level queue scheduling. So in multi-level queue scheduling algorithm, what happens is the ready queue will be this algorithm will partition the ready queue in several separate queues. So what is this ready queue? So in the previous videos we said that the process that entering into a system, they will place in a job pool. From the job pool you can take the process and you can place it in the ready queue. So in the ready queue you are going to have the processes which are ready to execute. So what happens in multi-level queue scheduling algorithm is it is going to partition this ready queue only. So in the ready queue what you'll be having? You'll be having the processes that are ready to execute. Okay. So this ready queue will be partitioned into separate queues. So you can see here you are having separate queues, like you have system process, one queue for system process. In this queue you are going to have the processes which are related to system, and you have another queue which is having the process related to interactive operations, then interactive editing, batch processes, and you have the last queue which are going to have student related process. So you can see in the diagram the system processes are having the highest priority and the student processes are having the lowest priority. Okay, so what's the first point we have to say under multi-level queue scheduling is the ready queue is partitioned into several queues. In multi-level queue scheduling, processes are permanently assigned to one queue. So once you put a process to a particular queue, okay, now suppose you have put a process to student to this particular queue which is consisting of student process, then that particular process is fixed to this particular queue only. Okay, you cannot take it and put it in some other queue. The processes are permanently assigned to one another based on the property. So how we are going to assign the processes to these queues? Based on some of the properties like memory size, process type, and priority. Algorithm choose the process from the occupied queue that has the highest priority and run that process either preemptive or non-preemptive. So what happens? You are going to put the processes in any of these queues, and the algorithm, what does it do? It is going to select the processes from these queues. Okay, so what happens? First, whichever is having the highest priority, those particular processes will be taken. Okay, and they'll run either as preemptive or non-preemptive. So by now I hope you know the difference between preemptive and non-preemptive. Preemptive means it is possible for us to stop a particular process in between and give the control of CPU to another process, whereas non-preemptive, once you give the CPU to a particular process, then it is not possible for us to forcibly take. The process on its own should complete and then you should give the CPU or release the CPU. Okay, in each queue, each of the queue has its own scheduling algorithm or policies. Okay, then we are having two possibilities. What are the two possibilities? If each queue has absolute priority over the lower priority queue, then no process in the queue could run unless the queue for the highest process priority process were all empty. So what is the meaning of this is, just see the diagram. Here you have system process is having higher priority. So this particular queue which is having system related process are having higher priority. Okay, now suppose you have some process in this particular queue, that is system process. In that case you cannot execute any process that is at the lower level. So that is the first possibility what they are saying. So what should happen? First, whichever queue which is having highest priority, that should be empty. Only then the queue which is having lower priority can execute. Okay, that is the first possibility what is told. Then the next one, if there is a time slice between the queue, then each queue gets certain amount of CPU time which it can then schedule among the processes in its queue. So what is the meaning of this time slice? So when we spoke about round robin, we said that each of the process will be given a time slice. So the time slice or time quantum is nothing but how much amount of time a process can execute in a given time. Okay, so at a time, so suppose I say time slice is equal to 1 millisecond. So suppose you have a process which takes 5 milliseconds to complete. So it can execute only 1 millisecond. and immediately after the 1 millisecond another process will be executing. Again after 1 millisecond the same process can execute. That the meaning is, at a time a process can execute only 1 millisecond, because the time slice given is 1 millisecond. Okay, so if there is time slice between the queues, okay, between these queues like system process related queue and next one interactive related process, so if there is a time slice between these queues, then each queue gets a certain amount of CPU time. Now we'll assume system process and interactive process, each of the queues are having a time slice of 2 milliseconds. So what will happen in that case? So each queue gets a certain amount. So this particular queue, that is system process, it can execute for how many milliseconds? That is 2 milliseconds. That is nothing but we are saying CPU time. Okay, which it can then schedule among the processes in its queue. So for that 2 millisecond, you can allow the processes which are there in this particular queue to execute. Immediately after that 2 milliseconds, the next queue will be starting to execute. That is interactive processes. In this queue, whatever process is there, that can execute for the next 2 milliseconds. So this is what you have to tell for multi-level queue scheduling. You have to draw this diagram. So what you are saying in this, the ready queue is partitioned into what? Into several separate queues. Okay, so that is what you are telling here. So what are the separate queues here? One queue which is having system related process, next queue having interactive processes, next interactive editing, next queue which is having batch processes. Batch is nothing but n number of jobs can be given together as a group, they can execute. Next queue you are having student related processes. Okay, so the two possibilities, what is there? First, whichever that is highest priority queue should be executed first. Only if the queue which is having higher priority is empty, only then the remaining queues which are having lower priority than the, suppose you take example as system process, so this is having highest priority, and you assume batch processes. So batch processes can execute only if the system process, interactive editing process, all these queues are empty. Only then batch process can execute. That is first possibility. Next possibility, what you are saying, if the queues are given some time slice. Okay, suppose system process is given time slice as 2, interactive process related queue also time slice 2. So system process at a time it can execute for 2 millisecond. In that 2 millisecond, whatever processes are there inside this particular queue, they can execute. Immediately after the 2 millisecond, the next process which are there in interactive process queue, they will be executed. So this is about your multi-level queue scheduling. So what you are saying, once you allot a process to particular queue, there is no way you can remove that process and you can put that process in other queue. It is not possible. But okay, but you have one more called as multi-level feedback, wherein that possibility is there. That we'll see in the next video. So for time being, this is your multi-level queue scheduling.